Hey guys, welcome back to Brighter Folks. Today we're taking a look at an emulator that runs the Spectrum computer through a web browser. I have done a review of an emulator that runs Spectrum on Android, and that worked out really well. It was a great emulator, I loved it. And for those of you that want to play the games but don't want to install anything on your computer, there are online versions of a lot of emulators that you can try. So I'm going to give it a go and see what I think of the, what's this one called? The JS Speccy. And I'll leave the link in the box below to where you can play this online. So let's take a look.
So hey guys, I've loaded up the JS Speccy website, and the first thing you'll notice is that you have a tape loader screen just like you would find on the Sinclair Spectrum computer. Basically that's where you would get started with loading your tape ROMs from. In this case, the website already has a drop-down box with a whole bunch of games that you can play right off the website without having to worry about finding ROMs or loading up your own. So for this example, I actually brought up the game Flying Shark, which is a shooting game, pretty fun game. Now, I just wanted you guys to know that while I was making the screen capture of the site, I had a little bit of an issue with the audio from the game overlapping what my commentary was as I was making the video. So I had to get rid of that and redo it. So in the meantime, here's the Flying Shark game. So it loaded up for me, but I had an issue. I couldn't get it to work with my Xbox 360 controller, so I was unable to control the game with a joystick. I attempted to use the keyboard, but I didn't know the settings for the keys. It wasn't in the game, and none of the keys that I was pressing was corresponding to starting this particular game. So I ended up getting another game loaded up, and so for the example, let's take a look at Batty, which is sort of a Pong-like game instead of Flying Shark. Okay, so on the first attempt, I wasn't able to get any sound to work with the emulator while I'm running my screen capture program for some reason. So that kind of sucks. Second, I tried an Xbox 360 controller. That didn't work. So now I am going to use the keyboard. So let's get back in here. We're going to say keyboard, and we're going to hit 0 to start. And this is basically a simple Pong game. Just going to figure out the keys here. Again, okay, here we go. That's the keys. So we hit space to get the ball going, and the A and S key to move the paddle at the bottom of the screen. So this is a pretty cool game from 1987. It's called Batty. So if you're familiar with Arkanoid or Pong, this was a no-name brand kind of game that was put out in the UK, and it was actually bundled with compilation game packs. So you got this as one of the games that you would get on these compilation packs, or it was sold as a standalone game. Never came out in the arcade, but it was a pretty cool game. It was a lot of fun, and that seemed to work really well. So Batty played well, except that I couldn't get the keyboard, the Xbox 360 controller to work with the emulator online, which has not been a problem with a dedicated emulator that I've tried in the past. So we're going to try something else. Let's see if we can get another game to run here. Chase HQ was sort of a car game. Let's see what happens with this one.
So hey guys, I played a couple of the games through the emulator, and I have to say that they did run, but if you're going to use the keyboard to run some of the games, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge because you have to figure out which keys to use, and there wasn't a way to figure that out on the game. I just had to keep pressing the keys and trying to figure out which one to use. Now, if you are serious about playing Spectrum games, then you're probably better off finding a good emulator that you can install on your PC or Android device or whatever other device you might have, and go from there, and then you can load your own ROMs and have more control, because with a dedicated emulator you can actually set it to key map the keys from your joystick or joypad or whatever you're using, and that makes it a lot more fun when you can actually play with a controller. Back in the day, most people did play with the keyboard, so it was funny that you had a whole bunch of people that would be masters at using the keyboard to play these old games. Wasn't me. But if you're going to try the Spectrum emulator online, it's fun if you're at work or somewhere where you don't have access to installing software. You might want to play some of these old games. Go ahead and put that on. It'll be a lot of fun with nobody finds out. But if you're serious about playing these Spectrum games, do yourself a favor and either get the real hardware or get a good emulator online from the PC or Mac or Android, whatever computer system you might have. There are plenty out there. So my attempt at playing a game online sort of failed, but I had fun figuring it all out. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one.